Hey folks, Kaya here. I Should Roll will always be free to listen to, but it's not free to make. So please consider supporting us by subscribing to our Ko-fi at ko-fi.com/Intergalactic Improv Initiative. You'll find the link in the show notes. As a stellar streamer, you'll receive exclusive bonus content and our enduring gratitude. Tiers start at $2 per month. See you on Calliope Station.
Correctly with the correct amount.
D20 Radio, where gamers roll.
www.d20radio.com.
A podcast by the Intergalactic Improv Initiative.
Ride of the Valkyrie, Episode 15, A Rose by Any Other Name. Featuring the voices of Grové, Hunter LaPaglia, and creator Kaya Renwick. The only lies worth telling are the ones that have a shred of truth. I should roll. Last time on Ride of the Valkyrie, Titoh and Carver have been left alone in Afterlife. Bean and Cash have gone to see Cypher, and Zinn and Gratch are, well, they're up to something. Titoh's drunk as a skunk and Carver's stone cold sober, so now seems like the perfect time to talk to that mysterious woman who saved Carver and Bean.
March 16th, 2184. Terran Universal Coordinated Calendar. Omega Nebula. Sarabaric System. Omega. Rika District. Afterlife.
Okay, so the night has gone on. Y'all have enjoyed yourselves. Bean and Cash have left to go talk to Cypher, and Zinn has floated out with Gratch on their tentacles. What's gonna go on there? Good question. That leaves Carver and Titoh as the last members of the Valkyrie crew in Afterlife.
Carver, can you remind me again? What do you do?
I'm sorry, for work? Or for... What do I do for the crew? Or...
Yes.
I don't know. Did we ever dish out assignments? I'm not sure.
Oh, you're Captain! Yes, Captain Carver Fairbank!
No?
I remember now.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
For the listeners, how many drinks in is Titoh right now?
Pardon?
For the listeners, how many drinks in is Titoh right now?
I think it was like 6.
I wasn't 6!
And as I recall, the con saves near the end weren't going great.
No.
Okay,
no,
just
no.
making sure we're... But unlike Bean, none of that has come back up yet.
No. Still good.
So, still holding our own.
Being the operative word.
Yeah.
Trapping it in there. Alcohol still swirling through my body.
Good. Okay, just making sure we're all on the same page.
So, Captain Carver Fairbank, I don't think you've ever told me before why are you here? You dress very fancy. You dress in a very official-looking get-up, and your name is Captain Carver Fairbank. So I'm assuming you've got very important things to be doing.
I'm just picturing it's like Captain Jack Sparrow. Like, the captain is absolutely part of the name. That's incredible. I forget. Am I still wearing the poncho or no?
As far as I'm aware, yes. Unless you've taken it off in the last, hours or whatever.
I didn't think so. Okay, cool. Carver is gonna kind of like look around still, because he's still paranoid about like the blue hard suits, because we still haven't gotten like an answer on what exactly that means. And I know we saw.
Well, you haven't asked. So there's you haven't gotten answers. It's more like you haven't asked about them.
Right. I haven't had Carver hasn't had the chance, because that's what I meant. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. So he's still like looking around, and
yes.
Carver's going to kind of like gesture to like lower, keep the voices a little bit lower, and like pull the poncho more over the N7 arm like sleeve, and kind of like glance around.
Are you cold? It's really hot in here.
You know what? I think you're right. We should go outside. And I'm just gonna kind of graciously grab Tito's arm and like pull us outside to where we can get fresh air.
I'd like a dex check from Titoh, please.
Also, as you do this, Tito's giving you her most cat-like face. As in, who the fuck? What are you doing? Dex check.
The cat face when you go to boop the cat snoot.
Yes, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? Okay, that's a 13.
Okay, you managed to stay upright. Congratulations.
Cool. Really, Captain Carver? I think this is a bit much, don't you think?
No, I really don't.
Would you chill? You're always so, just gestures up and down. Be more poncho and less uniform.
You just gestured to all of me.
Be more poncho. Words for the ages.
Carver's gonna just say, I think you're right. And I'm gonna take off like the belt that was like keeping the poncho like somewhat like uniform around me, and it's just gonna drape like I'm wearing like a nightgown. Mm-hmm. Is that better?
Oh yeah, you're much more fluid. That's the wrong word. You know what I mean? I spend far too much time around the Hanar.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
So, when Bean and Carver met Rose, did she say to like message whenever we want to meet at the afterlife, or that she was going to be at the afterlife?
No, she said message whenever, she'll meet you at afterlife.
Heard.
She didn't specify whether she hangs out there, like whether she'd be there and she would or like whether she would come. That was not part of the information that she gave you.
Gotcha. So as all this is happening, as like Carver's like undoing the poncho to like hide his form, I guess, he's gonna pull out his Omni tool and send a message to Rose, asking her to meet us at the afterlife, and then if Tito's willing, go back inside, kind of to like a secluded corner, so we're not like super out in the open.
You are now out on the quote-unquote street. There is no sense of time on Omega. It is just happening, and so you are literally just going to text Rose and have her meet you now. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes. No time like the present.
Okay.
With a drunk Drell on your shoulder. Just like, what?
I mean, we all know Carver's decision-making skills are just so.
Now hold on. There's a thought process behind here, okay? It might not be the best one, but it's there because Carver's thought process is he knows that he sticks out like a sore fucking thumb on Omega, and being in the afterlife, being around someone who's a little intoxicated, people might turn an eye to it. So. Not to say I'm using Titoh as cover, but I'm using Titoh as cover.
Legit. Love that. Okay, great, cool. I just wanted to make sure that we were all clear on what was happening, and now that we are, we shall continue. You send this message, and it's not very long at all before you get a ping back, and Rose says she'll be there in 15 minutes.
Who are you messaging, Captain?
Yes, so do you remember Bean and I talking about the woman we met on the dock?
Oh, yes, tulip tender or something. She was, weirdly grotesque. I remember Bean, Bean was very, traumatized by her.
Quite. Yes, so I've just messaged her to have her meet us here at the afterlife. I have to get some answers from her.
Oh. Okay. And I'm your bodyguard? Is that what's happening?
Yes. I knew there was no one I could trust more for this mission than you.
No, well, you've chosen very poorly.
Oh, give me a charm roll for that.
+5, baby. Let's get it.
Charm or deception. Charm or deception. I'll give you either, depending on how legit you are about this.
I had an 11, and then I have +5 to charm, because I'm definitely doing charm, so 16.
Okay, Titoh, I would like you to give me an insight roll at disadvantage.
What? I'm far more apt when I'm drunk. Everyone knows this. Oh no.
Everyone knows this.
Okay, that is a 8.
Yeah, he's being so sweet. And, like, he sees you for who you are, and he understands that, yeah, of all the people here, I mean, like, maybe excluding Cash, because, I mean, like, a Krogan bodyguard, you know? Like, that's hard to beat. But if you want subtle, way better choice.
I'm nothing if not subtle.
Yeah, exactly. So, you eat this up. You have no reason not to believe him.
I feel terrible.
You should!
All right, Captain. Well, tell me what you need of me.
Right, so we're just going to go back inside and just wait for Rose to show up and go from there.
Do you need my jacket? You seemed really cold in there before.
No, I think I'm okay, thank you.
You sure? Okay.
Quite.
Yeah, you guys go back in, and your corner booth hasn't been taken yet. It's still, like, although I will say that the bucket under the table has been removed by one of the long-suffering janitorial staff. And so it smells slightly less of vomit and alcohol. Are you guys going to stick with this booth, or are you going to find somewhere else?
Captain Carver, any chance we can go to a less sticky booth? I feel like I'm going to be suctioned to the floor.
Carver's just gonna give a thumbs up, because because my question was gonna be, where, like, is the booth located? Is it, like, pretty, like, I know you said it's a corner booth. Is it, like, in the corner of, like, the room, or is it, like, in the corner of, like, a section in the middle, or?
Zin had attempted to find the point in the club that was furthest away from everyone, because they were being a misanthropic, miserable shit. So this is about as far away as you can get from, like, the main action. That said, if you want to roll me an investigation check, you can look and see if there are any other dark corners that would be particularly good, or just what you can see available.
Absolutely, I will. Well, that's a crit fail. That is a 1.
Oh no! So you see on the so the way Afterlife is set up, the main level, there's sort of the dance floor in the middle, and then the bar off to the side, and then there's a few corner booths like the one we were talking about, and then there's sort of a mezzanine level that's kind of like eye level with the dance stage, where the strippers are dancing. And those are smaller. They're like the boxes at a theater, right? So they're a little smaller. They're a little bit more exclusive, and you don't see that anything else is available. But you do have the thought that you are currently in Arya's good books. Maybe you could get her to kick somebody out.
Question, is Titoh in a state where I can walk away? Or...
Yes. Titoh is your bodyguard, not the other way around. I can stand up straight. I'm fine. Fine.
Carver is going to shuffle very quickly back upstairs to go, like, I'm picturing, like, knocking on a proverbial door, like, on an air door, be like, hello, excuse me, and just walking up. I'm sure Arya's guards are not happy with that, but yeah, Carver's gonna go try to talk to Arya.
Okay, you make it up. They definitely side-eye you. But you're on the VIP list, at least for the night, so they don't stop you. When you get up there, Arya kind of raises an eyebrow and having a good night.
Sure. Question. I'm so sorry to bother you. You have been a most gracious host. I just was wondering if there was any way we could get a different booth downstairs. My friend, she wanted me to ask if we could get a different one. If not, no trouble. I just told her I would. So, yeah.
She narrows her eyes slightly as she's listening to you say this, and you're an interesting one. Can I ask why?
I find it best since I've met these people to not ask too many questions. I'm not sure. If I had to guess, I believe... I'm not even sure, to be entirely honest with you. I was going to make something up. I'm not sure.
Oh, my word.
You're too pure for this world, Carver.
Yeah. Carver the cinnamon bun. Too pure for Omega, for sure. However, I will say I think this is a refreshing change of pace for Arya. And I was gonna make you come up with something and give me a charm roll, but I think the honesty and just the straight, I'm not gonna, cause what Arya respects a good con, right? You don't get to be the pirate queen of Omega without respecting, the seedier side of the universe. But there's something to be said for shooting straight from the hip honesty. Like, I'm not gonna bullshit you. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm asking. I'm shooting my shot. Right? And so I think she tilts her head just a little bit. And she holds up a finger, just tells you to wait for a second. She stands up and kind of surveys the bar, surveys the club. And her gaze lands on something. And she nods. And she looks over her shoulder and kind of nods at one of her bodyguards and says, "Go kick Cashin out of his box. Tell him he owes me one. And I'm collecting." And the bodyguard, one of the Batarian, kind of looks like he looks at you, but he knows better than to argue with Arya. And he also knows that nobody else here is going to argue with Arya, and so he just says, "Yes, ma'am," and leaves. Or goes to leave. And Arya turns back around and looks at you and says, "Follow him. He'll get you your booth."
Thank you so much. That was very kind of you. I can't thank you enough.
And she sits down and goes back to whatever she was doing. You follow the bodyguard, you follow Anto up to that mezzanine level. I presume you pick up Titoh on the way.
No, I'm kidding, yes. Can you imagine? I wanted this bitch for me. No, I'm kidding.
You pick up Titoh on the way, and Anto leads you up to that mezzanine level and over to one of the booths on the end where a trio of a Turian, a Turian, and two Batarians in blue and white hard suits.
Fuck me.
Are kicking back with drinks and their feet up on the table. And Anto looks at them, says, "Arya says you're done for the night." And Turian bristles sits up. The fuck are you talking about? She says, we're done for the night. We just got here. What is this shit, Anto? And he shrugs, says, beats me. Arya says you're done. You gonna take it up with her? And for a hot second, it looks like this Turian, Cashin, presumably, is about to actually, is ready to get into it. And then one of his Batarian buddies grabs him by the carapace and says, Cashin, we talked about this. And Cashin grumbles. And,
I remember your words.
yeah, all right, fine. Fine. See when we're back next. And he shakes off his buddy's arm and leads the way out. And the other two Batarians trade glances with Anto, and they all like roll their eyes. Right? It's like they know what's up with this. Where are you two standing? What's your position? Are you like hiding behind Anto? Or are you just standing? Like what's your game? And Carver, how much of your armor are you allowing to be visible?
If I'm being honest, he was super focused on like keeping it hidden. But as we've been like walking, following this guard, and like trying to make sure Titoh doesn't fall behind, the arm is probably visible.
Okay.
So I'm kind of standing, not necessarily behind Anto, but like kind of to the side, like kind of like
Okay.
if it was a triangle, I'm like he's the point, and I'm just kind of back.
Gotcha.
And then Tito's behind me, I would presume.
Okay, cool. As the Batarians are passing, as the Batarians are getting out of the booth, Cashin is the first one to come by you. And he takes a look at you, clocks your armor, and then looks back over his shoulder at Anto and says, Arya's kicking us out for this guy? Anto shrugs and says, not my business. Again, you have a problem? Take it up with Arya.
Carver is gonna try to put into effect lessons he's learned on Omega.
Oh boy.
And as this is happening, he's just gonna, even though he's definitely shorter than Cashin, just kind of look him up and down and say, do we have a problem?
And I'm gonna back him up. I think I'm a bit taller than you. Titoh.
Yes.
Yes, it's not hard. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
So I'm
I know, that's my height. Let's not talk about it that way. I'm kidding. I don't care.
I'm taking my bodyguard role very seriously. And I'm gonna come up, just like silently up behind Carver, and just like fold arms, be as steady on my feet as I physically can, given how slightly drunk I am, and just like stare with my black eyes at him.
Okay, I need a performance check at disadvantage.
Oof. Oh no.
And this is going to determine whether or not Hunter gets advantage on his intimidation check.
Oh, bugger. I'm sorry, buddy.
Oh no.
15. Okay, so that's a performance of 15. Oh, 19. Dirty 19.
That's a 19 at disadvantage.
Yes.
Hot damn. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Carver definitely gets advantage on this intimidation check then.
Yeah, baby. Okay. That's good, because I have a -1 to intimidation, so please. Okay, first one's a crit fail. So, surely we can't go any worse, right?
Don't say these things. The dice will hear you.
That is what is that? That's a 17, so -1 is a 16.
Okay. This hard-suited Turian, his yellow eyes bore into your faceplate for a second. He's clearly clocked the arm. But then his eyes flick over your shoulder at Titoh. And then he glances across the room towards where Arya's little balcony is. And by this point, his buddies have come up behind him, and the one who called him off to begin with kind of jostles him. Says, Cashin, you've had too much to drink. Let's just go. And Cashin kind of... whatever. It's done anyway. And leaves without any further incident. Anto huffs, rolls his eyes again, jerks his head at the booth. Says, all yours. and heads out.
Carver's like, as he's walking away, like, because as he was saying, like, do we have a problem? Of course, Carver's trying to sound tough, and then as he's walking away, he's just like, thank you so much. Just like, demeanor completely shifts.
I think you can even Anto's answering snort is mostly drowned out by the still blaring music, but I think you probably still catch it. Okay, you guys have scored yourselves a VIP booth. Are you doing anything before Rose shows up, or?
More drinks. No, I'm kidding.
I was about to say, I'm trying to sober up because I need to take this bodyguarding seriously.
Of some sort. What are you doing to try to sober up?
Can Drell drink coffee?
I mean, I am sure there is. Every species in the galaxy has come up with some form of stimulant. So, sure, whether that's caffeine or something else, absolutely, you can have something that has that effect.
All right, I'll wave over a server and just give me something to sober me up, please.
Ractagino or whatever, yeah.
Sure, yeah.
You are brought the. What do you think? This is a world building opportunity, and I always like to pass these over. What do you think Drell drink or consume to wake themselves up?
I think it's the like pollen of like a desert like cactus. You know, those cactuses with like flowers that grow out of them.
Yeah, sure.
Like, that's like a really good.
Oh
yeah, anti-alcohol.
Yeah. Okay, so this would have to be something that is either consumable by multiple species, which is certainly possible, or it's going to be really expensive if they have it. But I'm imagining it like as a coating on like nuts or something, because protein is sort of universally one of the things that you consume when you want to soak up some of the booze. So like pollen-covered almonds, something like that. All right, so you come. The server comes with these dusted almonds, and you bite into a few. What do they taste like?
A little bitter, but like with a hint of sweetness at the back of your throat.
Nice.
Opposite to what it should be, but that's how it is.
Sure.
These are space almonds.
Perfect. Exactly. So yeah, you and I think they act pretty quickly. And I will say that you do not automatically get disadvantage on all of your rolls anymore.
Yes.
And just in time, as a familiar to Carver, blue, hard-suited woman walks into the club. You guys are, the position of your booth is, when you come in the front entrance, you guys are directly up and to the left of the front entrance. And so you see her come in because you're watching for her. The dark-skinned woman with the, I think dark-skinned woman with a long brown ponytail is how I described her last time, in a dark blue hard suit. Right, she's looking around. You guys are up a bit, so she doesn't immediately see you. Are you going to call her up?
Yes. Carver's gonna kind of like motion to like try to catch her attention. That way she can see where we're at.
Okay. I'll say she's looking for you, so it's not she sees you. And heads up and looks around. Well, isn't this lovely? I wasn't aware you had the clout to get a VIP booth.
Never mind. I'm not going to say what I was thinking. I was immediately going to put Bean's business out there and be like, you should have seen what we had to do to get it. But I'm not going to do that. Intrusive thoughts. As Rose like walks up, Carver's going to stand up. I saw my helmet on, right? I forgot.
Yeah, you still have your helmet on.
Carver's gonna take his helmet off and like reach his hand out to like shake Rose's hand as she's walking up.
She meets it, she shakes.
thank you for meeting us here.
Of course, I was the one who let you know this was the plan, so I'm very happy to have received your message. Could I be introduced to your friend?
It's Titoh. She's not going to reach out her hand. She's going to just fold her arms and kind of stand, a little lean against the booth, take her bodyguard job seriously.
Titoh, lovely to meet you. I take it you are the security for this particular meeting.
You take it correctly.
Might I ask where your Turian friend is? I was looking forward to seeing them again.
Preoccupied.
Ah, a shame. Well, I'm just as happy to speak with you. So, shall we get to business?
Let's. And, like, Carver will sit down and, like, lean forward and, like, my boy's locked in. I'm ready.
Okay.
To borrow from Star Wars, who talks first? You talk first? I talk first? Who?
She smiles. The club lighting highlights the scar over her eye. She looks particularly dangerous in this particular light, and you have a moment of remembering that steely-eyed stare as she sniped the Turian literally right over your shoulder. And she sort of smiles, shakes her head, and says, well, the Blue Suns in that particular district are currently making a killing by scamming ship owners out of their ships, or worse, and I couldn't see it happen to someone else, so I figured I'd step in.
And I suppose you just did that out of the kindness of your heart.
Well, I'm here on business, and was walking around, and more or less, yes, I don't like gangs. I really don't. And, well, we humans have to stick together, don't we?
Carver's gonna, like, lean back and just be like, and, like, kind of glance over to Titoh and be like, no? Like, in kind of like a questioning tone, but kind of under his breath, not, like, very aloud. And he's gonna, like, lock back in, for lack of a better term, and say, well, it wasn't just me, it was my friend too. So surely that wasn't your only motivation.
It's no business of mine who you make friends with, but I see a fellow human in need, and I know that in these parts of the galaxy, not many will stop and help, so I stopped and helped.
Tito's gonna lean, just like not too far, but kind of just lean forward beyond the backrest of the booth. You said you were here on business. Do elaborate, please.
Her gaze flicks up to you and then back to Carver. Hunter, did Carver take his helmet off?
Yes.
Or is he still Yes, okay. I thought so. I brain glitched. Okay. So yes, looks at Titoh, looks at Carver, raises an eyebrow. Am I to conclude from this line of questioning that your bodyguard isn't solely your bodyguard? Otherwise, I must say this is a frightful lack of professionalism.
Carver's gonna, like, kind of glance over to Titoh, and then glance back. We're more like partners. Now, if you wouldn't mind answering the question. And, like, he's gonna lean up a little bit more forward, like, over the table.
I would like you both to roll me an insight check.
Ooh, doggy.
Okay. Nat 20.
Hey!
Ooh.
I get one of each
Nice.
every session. Well, no, it didn't happen last time, but
16.
Okay. So you both can tell that you're speaking to a very smart woman.
for sure.
Nothing she is saying is not thought through beforehand. And there's definitely a calculating look on her face as she decides, very clearly decides, whether or how much she's telling you. Carver on a nat 20. You can tell that she is definitely putting more of her attention on you than on Titoh. It doesn't strike you as dismissive or like she's honestly not giving off racist vibes. This isn't a aliens. This is that her focus is you. For whatever reason, her focus is you. So yeah, she takes a moment, she thinks about it. And then she leans forward and puts her hands palm down on the table. Normally, I don't disclose the details of my work outside of my direct superiors. That is the nature of covert mercenary work. It's usually a bad idea to tell those outside the need-to-know circle things that they don't need to know. However, in this case, I happen to know that we are... How shall I put this? We are working toward the same goal. I am on the trail of a Cerberus cruiser. I happen to know that a ship matching the description of the one I found you and your friend outside, which, yes, I will say that is another reason I walked down that particular corridor today, are on the trail of an artifact that was stolen by the people manning that cruiser. We want the same thing. I'd like to help.
Holy fuck. Question, because, like, Hunter doesn't know a ton about Cerberus. I forget, does Carver know anything about Cerberus?
Well, Carver is sort of canonically backwoods, doesn't know shit.
Right.
But I would say, being in the backwoods colonies, you've actually probably heard quite a bit about Cerberus. But probably most of what you've heard is that they're a big company with a lot of money that is very interested in backing human companies and industries. They very strongly believe that the Alliance is not looking after human interests properly, and that there is a significant undercurrent to a lot of their sort of like lay members that the Alliance has sold out to alien interests over human interests. And so sort of like the day-to-day understanding of Cerberus is that they're space racists, right? They're human supremacists. But Cerberus, the company, maintains very strongly that they have absolutely no problem with other species. They're happy to work with other species. They just believe that, just like, Turian companies are going to, and Turian governments are going to look out for their people first. Humans should do the same. There's nothing wrong with that, right? And so that's the official party line. And you would hear, Cerberus probably does pretty significant recruiting drives in the backwoods colonies. You have almost certainly, they would have shown up at the school job fair, 100%, that sort of thing. And they do work in like every industry imaginable.
Can I do an insight check?
Absolutely you can. You would have also heard the conversation earlier today with like Cash and Titoh and everyone, where it was like, if Cerberus likes you, they'll do a deal with you. If they don't like you, you might disappear.
Gotcha.
Like, so you would have heard the sort of the alien sentiment towards Cerberus, as well as what you kind of grew up hearing about. But yes, you can absolutely do an insight check.
Okay. Because Carver's thought process here is it still doesn't trust Rose. Like, Carver, especially being on Omega, doesn't trust anybody to act outside of, like, something that's gonna, help their own interests. And, like, yeah, everything, quote-unquote, lines up with what she's telling us. But before she killed Homeboy that I was already interrogating and had subdued quite easily, and enough time that if someone lines up a sniper shot, they're gonna know, oh, they've got this handled. He was about to say it when I asked him, if I remember right, who you're fucking with us, but who's fucking with you. He started to say it was Cerberus.
He did, yes.
Hearing this, Carver doesn't trust and is thinking, like, okay, is this actually someone with Cerberus trying to get us off of their trail, so on and so forth. That's my thought process with that.
Okay, yep.
And that is a 17.
Okay. You can tell that, especially based on the strength of your nat 20 on your last insight roll, she is not lying to you, but there is more to the story.
Can I press for more?
I mean, it's your call, dude. Do what you want.
Carver's gonna lean up. I forget. Do we still have weapons on us, or are they like left at the door type thing?
Oh yeah.
That's what I thought. I just want to double check.
It's Omega. Open carry.
Carver's gonna take out his. I think I have like a pistol. Yeah. I do. Yeah, I have an M11 with a suppressor, so long barrel. If I do say. No. So I'm gonna take out the pistol, lay it on the table in front of me, and say, if we're going to work together, I need everything. I need every bit of information you're going to give. Otherwise, we're walking away.
If you're trying to intimidate her, I need an intimidate check.
Fuck, I knew that was coming, but still. Can I... Hold on. Can I be risky? Can
I help?
Probably.
Actually, can we do that instead? Because I was going to ask if I could spend an effort point or whatever we're calling them now.
Well, because I was also strapped with my stuff, and I wanted to just, like, like in the cowboy movies, they just sort of, like, pull the jacket aside to reveal the weapon. I want to, like, pull my, like, leather jacket aside to reveal my M23 katana just, like, sitting on my hip.
I forgot I had the poncho. Now I'm picturing Carver having to draw the pistol, and he's having to hike up the poncho that's, like, 3 feet too long just to get the pistol out. I forgot. Oh, well, that's a great visual. I love that.
With Tito's help, I will let you roll advantage on this intimidate check.
Yes. Okay. Come on. Be good to me. Do I switch the dice? Hold on. No, these have been good to me today. Okay, a 9. Come on. 18.
She watches this placidly. She's smiling. She's not like grinning, but she's been pleasant the whole time. And she sees you put the suppressor on the table, and she sees Titoh pull back the jacket to show the katana. And she sort of chuckles, reaches over her back, and pulls off her mantis, quickly slots it into place, lays it on the table. You guys can very clearly see it is modded all to hell. She smiles. She says, "Oh, you're very sweet. You're right, there's one piece of information I had withheld for the moment. And because I can so clearly tell how earnest you are, I am hunting down this particular Cerberus cruiser on behalf of Cerberus Corporate Management."
Huh?
They've gone rogue?
It was one of you reacting to this in character, or?
That was me.
Yes, I know.
Carver definitely raises an eyebrow, but I don't think he lets out more than that because he doesn't want to react too much to the information.
Sure.
Same. I got poker face.
Okay.
Poker face.
She lets this sentence sit for a second and then continues. This particular cell went rogue and stole the artifact, accelerating a timetable, and that has management concerned. I've been tasked with discovering what happened and handling the situation. And, well, suffice it to say that in my investigations, I discovered that there were already people investigating this particular situation, and that led me here to you. I would be quite willing to offer you the use of my ship to follow the cruiser, which, as I understand, is meant to leave port very soon. Alternatively, if you prefer to fly your ship, I could come with you.
Meta question. Come with us as in, like, on the ship, or, like, follow, tailgate behind us?
I mean, presumably either would be an option.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know about having her on the ship. I don't think Bean's gonna be very happy about that one.
So what's the catch? You're gonna help us find the artifact, and then what?
No catch. As I said, our goals align. My job is currently to handle this situation. As I understand it, your friend Zinamondan wishes to return the artifact to its rightful place in the most serene blossom of the mind's dawning. We can help each other.
Carver is immediately gonna lean up and say, "How the fuck do you know Zinamondan?"
She just laughs. I do my homework. As I said, when I began investigating, I discovered that there were already people investigating this particular situation. I will say that your friend Zinamondan did not do a particularly stellar job of hiding his tracks. If they meant to, it wasn't very difficult to discern who had been sent from the museum and where they had gone.
So, let me get this straight. You want to help us return the artifact to the serene blossom of the mind's dawning, and you, just get kudos and leave it alone?
I get my job done, and I get paid a very large amount of credits.
Why does Cerberus care where the artifact is, if they're not going to take it for themselves?
That, I'm afraid, is above my pay grade to share. But my job, as handed down from Cerberus management, is to go after this particular cell that went rogue and handle the situation. How that situation is handled is up to me. I see no reason we can't work together.
Carver's gonna lean back, because even with this information, Carver's not 100% comfortable with, like, anything, especially without, like, addressing the rest of the crew. So as Carver leans back, I'm gonna take out like a tobacco pipe. Are those a thing in Mass Effect? We got that?
I mean, I don't see why not. I don't know where. I guess you must have like a little hard case compartment on your suit. Sure, why not?
Hell yeah. Bro's playing an aura farm. All right, so I'm gonna light up. I'm picturing. I quoted this in the first episode. We're coming all the way back. I'm picturing Strider sitting in the back of the prancing pony. And he's gonna, take a huff of... I don't know. Can you tell I've never smoked? I don't know what the fucking terminology is. He's gonna do whatever he has to do to blow out the smoke, and then lean up and say, you'll have to give us some time to think on it.
Of course, naturally. I do understand that you're working with a crew and that the captain of the Valkyrie is not currently present, being otherwise preoccupied. Naturally, you would require some time to discuss this with the rest of your crew, certainly. Not a problem. You know where to find me. I do urge that if you choose to ally yourself with me, that you do so quickly. As I said, the cruiser is slated to leave very soon. And with that, she's going to stand and politely bow to you, Titoh, and then offer a hand to you, Carver, across the table.
Well, I forgot Titoh didn't shake hands. I was about to say, well, that's kind of messed up. She ain't gonna shake Titoh's hand, then she's gonna reach over to mine. So I was about to be like, fuck you, bitch. No, I'm good. Carver is gonna stand up as well as Rose is standing up, and just reach out a hand and say, "Charmed," and then shake Rose's hand, and then I guess sit back down in the booth.
Likewise. Have a good night. And she will excuse herself.
I don't like her.
I don't either.
She's far too polite. She didn't swear
Hold
once.
on. I'm polite. Oh, I guess I didn't swear because I said fuck.
Exactly. I don't trust people who don't swear. Means they're hiding something. And you are too pure to hide anything. No offense, Captain.
Carver's kind of like has forgotten that Titoh was a little intoxicated, and it's now like coming back, and it's like, oh, right. And then I guess Carver will like pull up his Omni tool to message the rest of the crew to figure out where everyone's at, where we can all meet back up.
You have been listening to I Should Roll, Ride of the Valkyrie, Episode 15, A Rose by Any Other Name, featuring the voices of Grové as Titoh Raas, LaPaglia as Carver Fairbank, and Kaya Renwick as everyone and everything else. Music and sound effects are used under Creative Commons or royalty-free licenses. For the extended credits, please see the show notes. And for more information, please visit ishouldroll.com. Find us everywhere on social media at ishouldroll. And don't forget to leave us a review. I Should Roll is an Intergalactic Improv Initiative production. This fan podcast is a transformative work and is not affiliated with Electronic Arts or BioWare. Thank you for listening. Have a pleasant day.